We are just now leaving Kidderminster in the entry point, as buses used to go this way back in the day when it was first under the Midland Red franchise. We're now passing on the right hand side the Dunnell Mill store, which used to be known as Safeway, and then on the left hand side was the former Levine's furniture store.
Now the 292 was the original bus tumbler.
We're now heading in the direction to turn left on towards Kidderminster Town Centre, as Kidderminster Town Centre is now being given its road back, thanks to the council putting a suggestion in for the roads to have more traffic to come into Kidderminster, as this part of the high street has been deserted ever since quite a few shops have closed. Mega value was the building of the former Littlewoods department store, but Littlewoods closed in 2006 and was sold off to Primark. And next door was Woolworths, and Woolworths has been empty since 2008 into 2009, since the store went into administration. There is quite a few independent shops in place of Kiddie these days. That's because big high street names could be found in city centres and the out of town shopping centres. We're now joining up at the Swan Centre. The 292 used to be the original number and ran from Birmingham to Hereford. The section between Birmingham and Halesowen is served by the 9 and the X10, operated by National Express West Midlands. The section between Halesowen and Kidderminster via Haley Green, West Hagley and Blakedown is served by the Diamond Bus 2192 service. The section between here and Ludlow was formerly known as the Diamond Bus 2L, which was awarded to this route as the 292 in 2018. And then the section to Hereford is no longer in use, so the only ways to get to Hereford now is to go to Worcester and then do the 420, or do a scenic journey through the Malvern Hills, then on to Ledbury. But the best route is the 420 through Bromyard. I am hoping to film the Bromyard service in the near future, so please stay tuned with this YouTube channel, Joe's Bus Train Plane Lift Adventures. We're now at the junction by the Weavers Wharf Retail Park, which is the main new shopping complex, and then on the right hand side the Crossley Retail Park. The Weavers Wharf Retail Park bought in stores such as Next and M&S, which moved in from the High Street. Sports Direct also came along, and then Debenhams on the former much loved Bradley Mills. We're now passing the Crossley Retail Park, and we are still on the corridor, and we pass an Envirofolk 300 on the 42 towards Redditch bus station, as that will call at Bromsgrove bus station, Aston Fields Bromsgrove railway station, and then we'll arrive into Redditch. As far as Bewdley, this route follows alongside the Diamond 125 service from Stourbridge towards Bridge North. Our first port of call on this journey is the General Hospital, just located outside Kidderminster. There used to be a section of this route that used to serve the Haberley Estate when it was the 2L. This also came with the 2, but that was withdrawn in September last year, and the replacement was the Wyre Forest Style of Ride Hopper service, and that has been operating on the estate since. So the route now climbs up the Bewdley Hill alongside the 291 and the 125 corridor. The 125 corridor is via the West Midlands Safari Park. This is the section for the Haberley service. The Haberley service is now provided by the Hopper. We're now climbing onto the Bewdley Hill as we depart Kidderminster Hospital. The Optare Solo YJ57XXE is one of the fastest Optare Solos that is to be used on the outside company of Diamonds 20734. We're stuck at traffic lights. These are temporary traffic lights which are in place as single file traffic does occur at times.
Of course, the 292, when it ran from Birmingham, it was actually combined with three contracts. The section between Birmingham and Hounslow were combined by Centro, which later became Network West Midlands, and now today it is Transport West Midlands. But the section between here and Bewdley and onto the Far Forest is called Worcestershire County Council, and then it was combined with another council, Herefordshire Council, and then Shropshire Council.
Traffic lights do cause delays at times, so please bear with us in mind, and then we will restore normal service.
Now the journey on this service is like an hour. It takes an hour between here and Ludlow, and then originally it ran over 2 hours, but that's only until they shorten the route.
We are now restarting up again as we are ready to fly down the Bewdley Hill.
R&B Travel used to run the 292 as a shuttle before, and also used to run the 436 running from the original to Shrewsbury. But today it is now operated by a ring. We are now flying down the Bewdley Hill towards Bewdley.
On our left hand side is the West Midlands Safari Park, which is a popular location for special animals such as lions and elephants. There is even an amusement venue that is located on site, which is actually the Fun Park, and that attracts many visitors who want to come and visit the site. We're now at the roundabout. We're now going to come into the little estate of Ribbenhall. Well, just outside Ribbenhall. Ribbenhall is now served by the 2 only service, but originally the 2L also served Ribbenhall. But the 2 still serves Ribbenhall, but makes her go back on itself at this junction coming up. It faces part of the old Wolverley bound line, but still the service is commercially viable to operate.
The original jump now, continuation of the straight on the 292. Now, with the 2L, it used to turn off left.
This is the junction where the number 2 service turns off and then goes on to serve Ribbenhall Estate. The bus service number 2 was originally operated by First Midland Red, and then the service then became Whittles, and then after Whittles the service was then taken over by Diamond Bus. Diamond Bus has operated the 2 ever since, and is still a popular route to be operating within the Kidderminster area. We're now coming past All Saints Church as we soon reach the Georgian town of Bewdley. Bewdley is the first stop on the Severn Valley Railway between Kidderminster and Bridge North. It then continues to Highley, Hampton Road with a request stop at Erdington and then terminating at Bridge North. We're now approaching the town of Bewdley. Bewdley sits among the River Severn, and this is the bridge where the bus will go in. The main part of Bewdley is Lode Street. This is where all the independent shops are located. The River Severn runs from Shrewsbury in Shropshire, through Ironbridge, then onto Bridge North, then onto Bewdley, then through Starport, and then on to Worcester. The River Banks is really popular here in Bewdley. However, there is a Tesco Express within Bewdley town. And there's even the popular parish church which sits right at the top of the town in the middle section. And it is an iconic landmark just located in the town of Bewdley.
A lot of independent shops here.
We now part company with the 125 as that service continues to serve Kinlet, Highley, Chelmarsh and Bridge North. We climb up towards the Clibbery Road and follow alongside the 2, but the 2 turns off at the top to serve Hales Park. The 2 no longer serves Barkhill, as that area is now no longer used. This one and the 291 continues up further along the Clibbery Road and then into the far forest. This is the point where the journey will then go on to Sir Hales Park. Up there is Bark Hill. This part is where Hales Park is.
So there was an addition to I, but that service is now withdrawn. So it's only services along the Clinton Road that serve that part. There was quite a lot of council issues funding that 2L and funding that 2L service. So we are now heading out of the Shropshire, the Worcestershire area, and we're going to fly down through the far forest en route to Cleveland. So there will be three, so there'll be additional sections of the video, so bear that in mind. It will be a longer video. So now I'm going to the far forest. You probably might know that this bus has a commando engine here. So we're just passing Wharton Car and following down the A456 towards Leominster and in the Saltbeach for Tenbury.
We're now turning off and heading down towards Callow Hill. Our bus is now speeding up for a good mile an hour. Our journey passes the Wyre Forest National Park. The Wyre Forest National Park is one of the most popular locations just outside Bewdley. The journey is flying through the Callow Hill area and heading en route towards Ludlow. Now, if you might have noticed some other things that I've mentioned, please ignore that, what might have been mentioned that's personal, so please don't tend to reply over that. Thank you. we can see some weird looking Christmas trees. We've gone past the Royal Forester at the Far Forest. We even parted company at the junction as to continue towards Pound Bank. That part is served by the 291 towards Tenbury Wells. We will be filming the 291 very soon, so please stay tuned for that. We're now passing the ploughing at the Far Forest pub as we continue our journey on the 291 service, on the 292 service. We're now going to fly all the way down to Morley Oak. Morley Oak is the location for the travel for the coach company. But please do not comment on that, because anything that is anything related, please don't comment on it unless you have the right of permission. So please do not comment. Please do not comment on any things that I've mentioned of any like bids and all that. Please do not comment over that. Thank you. Central Connect used to run this service years ago. I am going to do some more videos coming up soon on my vlogs. I am hoping to do the history of the number 10 service from Wolverhampton to Telford. And when I do part 1, I'm going to include the actual 10 running Wolverhampton towards Pertham, and even exploring the 10A and 10B as they were originally part of Telford Depot. I am going to do the 70 next week from Wolverhampton to Cannock, so you can stay tuned for the 70 to Cannock. And my next upcoming video is the X6 from Coventry to Leicester. So Coventry to Leicester is going to be the next video to come up, run by Travel de Courcy. I am going to, so stay tuned for this service. Stay tuned for X6 service to Leicester. X6 to Leicester, and then the 70 to Cannock. I might film the 110 from Tamworth to Birmingham, and I will also be doing tour of the lifts at the Ventura Retail Park. We're now at Morley Oak. We've just passed the Morley Oak Travel. Now, as you know, we have left the Wyre Forest district and we're now in Shropshire. So Shropshire will be coming up really shortly, and we will also be climbing up the steep hill, the Clee Hills. The Clee Hills are the main hills located in part of Shropshire, and they're the two hills. And then next to the Clee Hills is the Wrekin in Telford. I am going to be doing some other routes eventually. So the next vlog is going to be the X6 from Coventry to Leicester, and then the 70 from Wolverhampton to Cannock. So stay tuned for the 70 Wolverhampton to Cannock. Or I probably might film the 60 from Cannock to Lichfield. So stay tuned, the 70 Wolverhampton to Cannock. Or might film the 60 from Cannock to Lichfield. It all depends if I want to film routes over that way. I might film the X8 between Wolverhampton. I might film the 7. I know I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to film the number 7 this sometime soon from Maryhill to Dudley. We're passing the junction to the Pioneer Centre and we're climbing to the village of Cleobury Mortimer.
And of course it sits beneath the Clee Hills. Next part of the video will be filming you climbing up the hill. It's beautiful the hills on the opposite direction.
This is Cleobury Mortimer. We're now departing Cleobury Mortimer and we'll be flying up the Clee Hills. Now, as you probably know, I have swapped seats in this part. So anyway, we're now leaving Cleobury Mortimer. As you know, our swap seats is I'm going to get a view of the popular view of the landscape of the hills nearby. In the picture footage, you would see the view of the popular Aberley boarding school with the clock tower sitting on top of the hill, pointing on the direction towards Worcester. And then you'll see the other hills, and then on the way to the Bristol Channel. now flying up the big hill as we head on the direction towards Clearbury, towards Clee Hills.
Down there is Halloween. That is served on the 758 temporary miles to Worcester.
We're now descending into a dip and then we'll fly up the hill. This is the Clee Hill, the fastest gradient on any bus journey in Shropshire. Now there is a repetition of the Clee Hills, look out for sheep. Yes, because on this hill there is animals called sheep. So bear that in mind, that there's quite a few sheep, and then there's the quarry right on top of the hill. So, as you can bear with us in mind, while we climb this steep hill. The stretch on the steep hill is at 1.5 gradients. Our journey maximum time we also pass nearby farms. We now climb up the steep hill of the Clees. We can get a good chance of view of Aberley Boarding School, clock tower that sits right on top of the hill.
Now over there, just behind the hills, is Worcester. So Worcester is just right over there.
The journey is now climbing upwards to the top of the hill. We can also see the can also see the great view of Worcestershire. But we're now in Shropshire. We have left Worcestershire behind. Worcestershire is now disappeared, so we're now heading towards Ludlow. So this is now like that we're up in the sky at the altitude between Kidderminster and Ludlow. We are now on top of the Clee Hills. So we're now climbing alongside the Clee Hills, and if there's anything that I've mentioned about any futures, please do not tend to comment on this. Do not reply, because obviously I will not appreciate it, as I've said this by accident. So if you tend to ignore, so that's why I'm using the microphone, so I can block what I'm saying. We're now on the Clee Hills itself, as we can see the radio mast in the background. We are now crossing along the busy Clee Hills, as we can even see a sun shining at us. So if you could just ignore the sunshine. We are descending. We are on the approach towards Ludlow. And also filming the Utoxeter. Utoxeter will also be coming up next on the list. We're now coming towards the May stores at Clee Hill. Well, Clee Hill May stores, as it used to be known as. We're now passing the former Clee Hill Mace stores, now known as Premier. So we're now heading downwards. We're now back in the previous seat. So we're now flying downwards. Of course, at the bottom of the hill was the former run of the old 141 and the 143 from Bridge North to Ludlow. The services were provided by Arriva Midlands from the former Bridge North depot, and then R&B had the service. But however, the services are now unknown ever since. Of course, the services were also provided by Whittle Services. Of course, you won't see any pylons on this journey because there aren't any electric power cables to be seen, and there's none even on the 435 route, but there is some on the 291 route towards Tenbury Wells, and they will be seen in the next block from Kidderminster to Tenbury Wells. And there will also be pylons to be seen, hopefully, on the Leicester routes. and even doing the 48 to Coventry, operating by Stagecoach
The original
in
route of the old 141 and the 143, which was Ludlow to Bridgnorth. But these days you cannot get a Bridgnorth bus from Ludlow because obviously these days, as I remember in the 436
we're
video,
now heading
you had to watch my
downwards.
436 video,
So
check it out.
I am excited to film the X6 operated by Travel
You now
because
have to go to Shrewsbury to catch the Minsley
Coventry to Leicester.
Shrewsbury to Ludlow, and that takes
Of course,
2 hours
the
there.
trip to Leicester is part of the East Midlands. So, operating by operating by Stagecoach. So we're now flying downwards. We will soon be arriving in the town of Ludlow, which is the terminus of the 292 route. And of course, as you might know, Middleton is just on the other side, and that is where the Stone Barn Bed and Breakfast is. And of course, by the Stone Barn Bed and Breakfast there's a weird telegraph pole, which is actually on one arm. However, no buses go on that route. As you know, on the Highgate Common, that is known as the car line. So that means buses cannot go down there, because obviously the half a telegraph pole is in place. And even though it can also be affected on the Blakeshaw Lane between Kimber and Rugeley, as there's a telegraph pole on that area as well. So most areas are now provided as the car lines. The journey is taking a good mile between Kidderminster and Ludlow. And as you know, Ludlow operates various services. The 292 from Kidderminster, the town service is provided by Minsley Motors, and there's even other companies such as Lug Valleys and the Yarrington Temporary Wells journey. And there is also the Arriva Shrewsbury run, which is the Knighton to Ludlow service, and then also the 435 running from Ludlow to Shrewsbury. However, Arriva drive dead from Shrewsbury down to Ludlow to take on the Knighton service. I am hoping to film the Knighton services in the near future, so bear with me as I film the Knighton services very soon. Of course, on the Knighton run you'll find an Optare Solo. The Optare Solo on the Knighton service is a really popular route. Optare Solos are really nice buses, and they have wheel arches on the front. This is an older version of an Optare. The newer version of the Optares are Optare Solo SRs. And then there's the Metro Cities, and then the Versas. And there's even the Temples as well. The Temple buses are really nice buses. We will also soon be coming to the big roundabout. The main roundabout is the junction towards Leicester, Shrewsbury and the town of Ludlow. And of course, we will soon be arriving in Ludlow. That was almost the jump. We will be climbing along all the way towards Ludlow. So the video will be uploaded anytime soon until I can sort any issues and mechanical stuff that I have to do. The journey is taking a couple of more minutes. And we should have been in Ludlow anytime soon. So the service will run between. So we're arriving into Ludlow anytime soon. So we're now passing beyond the Clee Hill estate, and on towards the town of Ludlow. And as you probably might know, we should have been in Ludlow anytime soon. We're now flying downwards as we're nearly at the bottom end, and we're also slowing down. So we're now going downwards. So this is now the roundabout. So we are now at the roundabout, and we are crossing over the junction. Roundabout will. So now we are taking the junction into the town of Ludlow. As you probably might know, that the first bus signs are still in place. That's because they have not removed them ever since, but still they have the famous 292 bus sign up, which has been reinstated since the route was renumbered the 292. And of course this is a brilliant bus route, and of course it has better connections, and Ludlow is a famous town, not only to have its famous market trade town. There's even medieval stuff, and that is Ludlow Castle. Ludlow Castle has been destroyed a long time ago by famous Oliver Cromwell, and now it leads itself as a special attraction within the medieval times. And even Ludlow has had many developments. Of course there are lots of independent shops in Ludlow, but there is the high street names such as Boots, Hallmark, W.H. Smith, Spar, Subway, One Stop and Tesco. Tesco is the main supermarket in the town of Ludlow, and of course it is adjacent to the rail station served by Transport for Wales services from Milford Haven to Manchester Piccadilly. And of course it is on the Welsh Marches line. I'm hoping to film the Welsh Marches line between Ludlow and Shrewsbury, and that could be next on the agenda to film from Ludlow to Shrewsbury on the Welsh Marches line. The Welsh Marches line uses a fleet of Class 175 Corolliers. It is now operated by Transport for Wales, formerly known as Aviva Trains Wales. And we're also in the market town of Ludlow. Of course, the Compasses Inn is the main pickup point for services heading into different locations. Most services are like at Upper Goldingford and Lower Goldford, which is also by the cooperative supermarket. We're now turning downwards as we'll be soon arriving in the town of Ludlow. Of course, we will be passing Minsley Motors' services when we arrive here. So now we have arrived at the town of Ludlow, just coming onto the car park now, and then coming past the park at the former cooperative store. It used to be known previously as the popular Quick Save, which I might think, then it changed to Summerfield, and now the shop is now known.
Going from Kidderminster to Tenbury Wells. This is a Mercedes Satara. We're just now leaving Kidderminster, and I hope you enjoy the journey. Just now leaving Kidderminster, just going through Kidderminster town, just gone past Kidderminster Town Hall. Now this service is going to go via the General Hospital, West Midlands Safari Park, Bewdley, Hello Hill, through Park Far Forest, up through Poundbank, Clouds Top, and into Tenbury Wells. Red Van and the Farewell Transit. And also previously they used to have 3 vans. We're now by the Church of St George's. This is the first service of Kidderminster towards Temporary. Trains on there, and just as you probably might see, just right there, that's the place ground. That used to be the old Vauxhall Deep garage, which is now moved next door into the former high and high garage. There's the former garage there with cars. It's the cutting service, Hampstead Central. We can see the Matland store that has been there for a long time, just before the Leavers shopping mall officially opened. And most of the buildings are used as storage, and now been turned into shops. You can see the Sainsbury's supermarkets. This has not been the first time the Saudi Satara has been beginning instead. As before, we used to use these Sataras for the service 212 towards the wall. And the 212 used to we're now approaching the General Hospital. Turning right is the former number 2 service to Harrow, and also with the addition of the former 2-hour. We're also passing the Church of St John's, which just sits opposite the which sits just like opposite the General Hospital. Stop here. We are now passing the junction of the Harrow service. The answer is now my voice on the right, the hot. And the route is 12. We're now moving on route. experience. There is the 291 from Kidderminster to Town, 292 which is now driving to Toronto. The 2 is driving to Kidderminster, which goes on Hills Park, which tonight, and also there's the 292S, which goes around to Cleveland Watermount, and then there's also there's a 302 to Worcester 60, and finally the one at the overlay, and there's the one at the overlay 256, which goes to Worcester from Starport, operated by Protestant coaches. It is a scenic route. When it was the 295, it was a scenic, really great, because it had all the coaches to the point. Otherwise, we're surely having and also being coaches. Obviously operated from first. However, the 296 was notably instead up to the 60, which started as first, then Whittles, and then the County Council had the service only for a couple of months, and then it was taken over on behalf of Cost. This is beautiful, and it is one of the small, and it is one of the main Northern towns. Historics, and of course we can see the popular Bugey Bridge, which just crosses across the River Severn. Big River Severn runs from Shrewsbury in Shropshire. It goes through the Gorge of Iron Bridge, through to Bridgnorth, and then follows most of the 125 route all the way down to Newton. And then it goes on to Stourport 7, which is the port of the River Stour towards Stourbridge and the Plains Hills, source. And then the River Severn is on to Worcester, and then reaching before heading to the sea on the Bristol Channel. there is Bar Hill. That is no longer served by a Diamond bus by any bus service. Also, Diamond lost the card when it was additional to a tender. Traffic lights are now in comments. So it's single file. So we can only go going one part at a time. day, also used the same as the tires. Previously we used a Scania Solar 5300 and a Scania Omni. But these days it's the same as the tire. This journey does have a few tight turns. Very unusual for us, 8 minutes of time. Car stop is a 1.5 mile and 4 miles to Tilbury. We have now gone past the bridge of the school. We could not have filmed that because due to tight squeezes. So I like to apologise for that. So there is a tight squeeze on these narrow lanes. It also happens on 114 from Telford towards Bush Road. And also a service 877 to Stafford. 30 miles an hour. The Clee Hills are just surrounded in the background. And then over further is the popular town of London, the Fairtrade town in Shropshire. We've just gone past Bakery Village. It is now 7 miles towards Denby Wells. We're now on a slight right turn, but we're actually going to be joined the main road. So we're now going to find out our speed all the way down to town. And that was fast. only 14 miles. It's only 14 miles on the way. On the way.